This episode of Capes and Lunatic Sidekicks is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Luca Perich, and you are listening to the Capes and Lunatic Sidekicks podcast.
Hey, what about our Comic Capers podcast?
Ugh, what about us?
Oh, come on, Lilith. It's your favorite Captain America. Hey,
No Captain America?
What?
No Captain America is my favorite Captain America.
We almost had that
Oh, America's,
at the end of this run.
America's Butt's your favorite. Welcome back to another Comic Capers. I am Phil. Joining me, as always, that patriotic young lady from Florida. It is.
Hey, y'all, it's Lilith Hellfire.
And joining us once
Want
again.
to fight about it?
Joining us once again, big Marvel fan, especially this 80s stuff. It is
Charlie the Professor Esser.
Yeah.
These are the comics that made me a nerd.
This is who we blame, guys. We finally figured it out.
Yep.
Thought it was Shooter.
Well, that's part of this whole universe too, But yeah, give us the rundown.
Oh, he's ready to get into it. Yes,
Do the book report.
because we're going to be going into Captain America's 347 through 350 and Avengers Annual number 17, the final part of Evolutionary War. So
Yes, which has nothing to do with anything that happens in these Captain America comics.
I know. All right.
Literally pulls right out.
Hey-oh.
Which raises, why did Phil make us read it?
I thought you would enjoy Evolutionary War, Charlie Esser.
Oh, I did. Although I have to say, what I found most fascinating about that is the realization that the reference to Mayhem in Manhattan is
Inferno,
which we don't
It's
get
always
anything in
Inferno.
Captain America. And so I just thought, oh, wow. It's kind of weird when you realize that those two events were kind of going on at the same time. And
hey, remember last night you're like, oh, how can we just get event after event anymore? Hey, it's always been.
yeah, I mean, really, it's just, one on top of the other.
Although yeah, Evolutionary War was just in all the annuals. Inferno went through all the regular books.
Yep, I remember it well. And I remember the special Jarvis issue of Inferno, which is the best issue of Inferno. Because it's all based on what he learned about animated inanimate objects from Roger Rabbit. And got the phone to cooperate.
All right.
That's why the computers were all spitting gibberish.
Yeah.
Okay,
Inferno?
now I'm connecting it,
Super connecting it. All right.
And all you had to do was just promise that you would give them all the change in your pocket, and the phones would cooperate.
Oh, jeez. All right, let's get to 347, a brutal issue. All right, so in a Chicago suburb late one night, an aged woman hears the doorbell. Answering it, she is shocked to see Captain America delivering a warning that the next time he sees her son Hector, he is a dead man. Fighting a heart seizure, Mrs. Lennox telephones her son in Las Vegas, where he is training in boxing with his partner Jerry Johnson under the eye of manager Ethan Thurm. Remember him? When Hector...
Yeah. That guy's a Skrull. Calling it now.
No, he's...
Because he looks different every time they draw him. The man does not have one look. Guy changes his look more than I do.
Or he's a mutant or something.
He's something.
I know. When Hector takes the call and learns that Cap has threatened his elderly mother, he goes berserk, vowing to kill his enemy. Ethan explains that this was to be expected after they revealed Cap's identity as John Walker on television back in issue 341, which led to his parents' murder in 345. Hector is not dissuaded, and he dons his left-winger costume and heads out. At a meeting of the Commission on Superhuman Activities, the debate over the next course of action is heated. Yet Director Rockwell is missing. He is in the jail with the captain, Steve Rogers, threatening Steve with the consequences of withholding information from the government. Steve tells him he suspects a hidden vendetta, and Rockwell departs. Steve begins to question whether his friends were right to smell a rat. Next, Captain America arrives in East Philadelphia, born and raised, to deliver the threat to Jerry Johnson's mother, but they have been bitterly estranged for years. She directs the hero to Jerry's father. At home, Lamar Hoskins achieves one of his primary goals in life. He completes his GED. Here we go, Ray. For foreign readers, the general educational development tests are to allow students to earn the equivalent of a high school diploma later in life. On their way east, Ethan Thurm tries to dissuade Jerry and Hector from doing anything rash, but the vengeful Hector assures him they would only kill John Walker in self-defense. Sure. All right. I know.
Sure, Jan.
Sounds like a plan, Jan. All right. I know Charlie liked this part. In a prison in Algeria, a crack team of commandos assaults the building and rescues a single inmate, an aged man called Albert Malik. After a brutal firefight, the commandos bundle their charge into a helicopter, which takes off. Malik gloats in his freedom. He is given the Red Skull mask he wore as a communist agent back in the 1950s when the original Nazi skull was missing. As he exults in his plan for new exploits, the pilot draws a gun and casually shoots him down and says, "Justice is served." Douglas reports to his mysterious leader, who will not reveal to him the master plan. The villain does receive a call from the Scourge of the Underworld and is pleased. All right, Captain America, John Walker, arrives at an oil field near Dallas to locate Jerome Johnson's father. Finding the man, he delivers the same warning that he gave to Jerry and Hector's mothers. But this time, left and right winger are there and ready to take on their former friend themselves. At this, Cap's face breaks into the most frighteningly sadistic grin this comic has ever seen. The incredibly brutal fight that follows ends with Cap beating his foes into submission. When they plead for mercy, he shows them mercy. He ties them to a massive oil tank and gives them one of their flame torches while placing the other one against the tank itself. He tells them that if they can burn through the cable holding them before the flame ignites the petroleum, they can go free. Cap then walks off. When the explosion comes, he barely cracks a smile as he keeps walking.
This is where they got the Saw ideas from. Saw movies ideas from. Pretty sure.
I know, man.
Yeah, this is... First off,
he's insane.
I have to say, years later we revisit this in another, where after he's had his memory wiped about what happened with right winger and left winger.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get that.
And I did not recall that they did this graphically in the book.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we don't get to see them in the in the convalescence home.
Yeah.
That we do later, but it's just it was disturbing, man. It was disturbing.
I know. Look, Chad's on for the power of Chad from Into the Night and Moon Knight podcast. Hey, Chad. He say, I love in quotes, mercy.
Yeah.
I was like, who's he, Uncle Jesse?
Have mercy. Well, he gave him a fighting chance.
Yeah.
How was that mercy opposed to Moon Knight's mercy? Well, we didn't cut their faces off.
Yeah.
As you do. If you're a Joker or a Moon Knight.
Yeah. I don't know. There's an interesting question in all of this, which is, would the explosion have caused as much damage as it apparently did when we see them later in the convalescing?
Well, I mean, they're super strong, but they're not invulnerable.
No, but then, and of course, we'll see something similar with D-Man later, and he does come back. I mean, not 100%, but, physically. And it's like, is this a more dramatic thing that... Now, actually, I think... Because that's, I think, maybe one of the weird things about it was, if I recall correctly, when they do the flashback, did he actually douse them with gasoline first?
I don't think, but I mean, they were tied to that giant tank. I mean, we're going to get to the D-Man thing in a little bit, but I mean, does it make a difference? Maybe D-Man was in motion and they weren't?
I don't know. It's yeah. But, I mean, it's just rough. It is just rough. They are just going full on Conan the Barbarian with all of this, Definitely going for that bloodlust and violence. And
it's like he's insane. I mean,
It was the late 80s. Of course they were.
Mm-hmm. This was 1988 because they're talking about January when the new president takes over by the end of this. So,
oh yeah,
And it's interesting to see
All presidents are lame ducks. Hashtag fight me.
But it is interesting, and again, just this idea that you read these books in order,
Yeah.
and it does not seem as long as it does. But for the characters, Cap says, I've been in this costume for months. Well, no, you've been in it for like 6 books. And I guess it's been months to everybody else. But, panel to panel, has it really been? So it's that interesting question about sliding time with that. So, but yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, when this is going on, it's always like, oh, it's been months, but sliding time. But whenever they come back to revisit it, they'll probably say, oh yeah, for weeks, John Walker was running amok, and it's like,
yeah. Well, they'll always do that. It's like it was, several weeks ago that Ultron first attacked us, and it's like, well, no, that was like 20 years ago, but yeah, weeks ago. But then, yeah, so it's interesting. That's all I'm saying. How sliding time affects our heroes.
Oh, but during that brutal fight scene, Charlie Esser, did you get some red blood coming out of people's mouths at all?
I thought so. Well,
Okay.
Now that I'm trying to think, yeah.
Because I know John Walker gets hit; he's got red blood coming out. But there is there is one scene where is it Walker? Oh yeah, he's like drooling, and so I mean, there's parts where it's like it is white. I guess it's supposed to be spit at some points, and other points supposed to be blood. But yeah, I mean, they just tear this oil field apart.
Yeah, and and again, just this idea that everyone is there, everyone sees this, everyone knows who everyone is.
Somebody's getting paid off.
Yeah, well, but then again, as we later learn, it was all part of the master plan.
Oh, but yeah, and then that Albert Malik stuff. I'm like, who could want the imposter Red Skull dead? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting without a doubt. As I said, I thought that it was interesting that it's Albert Malik.
Yeah.
That's the villain in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. right now, the Maliks. So,
oh wait a minute,
spelled differently, but still,
these surnames go deep.
Yeah, I mean, actually, if I recall correctly, in Agent Carter, Rockwell is the guy who runs Roxxon.
Oh, there you go.
So there's a lot of callbacks from this era. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
80s, 90s, this last good decades. Really, let's just all be honest.
Hey-oh.
Yes, but yeah, I mean, is this No, Reagan doesn't show up until the next issue, right?
Yeah, I think the next issue.
Yeah, because Reagan is just completely off his meds.
Testosterone poisoning. Who could he be talking about, Chad?
Yes. But yeah, I mean, it's a rough issue. It's rough to read.
I mean,
they never explain Ethan as a Skrull because. Literally, I mean, right in this one, he's got a bowler hat.
That's what I was going to say. I'm like, what's up with that hat?
And I think he's got a red mustache.
It's where sliding time coalesces together to create one abomination.
Listen to Charlie Esser. Listen to Charlie Esser. How could he have a mustache at one day and not the next?
Hey, no, I'm going to tell you, it takes time and dedication to grow a proper mustache.
Maybe it's not a proper one.
Yes, it does. Otherwise, it looks like a scraggly little rat tail. Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, like I said, I mean, sometimes they draw him very fat. Sometimes they draw him kind of like Robin Nekabo, and it's weird. It's weird that they don't have one design for this character. And
maybe, I don't know, is it when he has money, he's gorging himself on food, and there's weeks they don't have money? I don't know.
Feast or famine.
That doesn't work. I mean, and then it's just the entire way he dresses is completely different in this book. This time, like I said, now he looks like a character. He looks like, oh, here's my wacky hipster clothing. Whereas in previous incarnations, he just looked like a business dude.
Oh, we need some kind of
businessmen are evil in the comic book world. We know this.
Well, yeah, and I don't mind them being evil. I want them to have a consecutive look, appearance to appearance. Sometimes in the same book, he is drawn completely different between how they draw him in the first set of panels to the second set of panels. So
we need some untold tale. What if there's more than one Ethan Thurm and they're all like agents of the Red Skull, and
they forgot to get back around to it.
left and right winger are just too stupid or something to notice, or they're paid off. Yeah, don't notice when Ethan Thurm looks different.
Yeah, no, I'm going with Skrull. This is the first hint of Secret Invasion. That's all I'm saying. It was in the works even then.
Don't give Ben ideas. He's gone.
This doesn't work here anymore, Phil.
I know.
He's coming back.
That's
y'all can have him back.
That's what I was thinking yesterday. I'm like, if he tomorrow said, "Oh, I want to come back and write, Ultimate Spider-Man again," or whatever book he wants to write, would Marvel just take him back in a heartbeat?
Marvel's not really struggling creatively.
No. But I'm just
so. I mean, they might. I mean,
some would beg to disagree, but okay.
Not like DC.
Well, yeah,
nobody's pooping the bed like DC right now.
I'm just saying that I mean, if you wanted to come back,
that's what every company in the industry is saying. Well, at least we're not DC.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, for what it's worth, DC is DC is having their own problem, and it's. Here's the thing. I can't even say that DC's having problems. It is clearly a industry wide problem there, where nobody knows who's in charge. I think that all the different wheels are spinning and none of them are attached to an axle. So
again, they need one central figure running the whole show.
Sounds like a plan, James.
Or at least a cohesive council. Something.
Yeah, they need something, and they
need leadership, a firm hand.
They big units.
Yes. Anyways, but what else is? But I mean, does Steve do anything this issue, or is this all?
Well, no, it's just Rockwell talking to him, remember, and he's just like, "Oh, I'm thinking maybe there's a vendetta going on."
Well, yeah, Obvi.
Yeah. Yeah, and Lamar gets his GED for a page.
And Lamar got his GED. Yes, so
which is Lamar.
Lamar's himself. Lamar is great in this. Lamar, I will say this: of all the characters introduced in this series, Lamar is probably one of my favorites who had good things done with him.
Oh yeah, I mean look where we're at right now. As John Walker just sinks into darkness, Lamar's just going up and up.
Yeah, and I love the fact that, as we see in later stuff, Lamar, he gets himself centralized into the zombie invasion storylines. Where he is the last defender against zombies on Earth. Him and Howard the Duck are the two guys that are constantly, and actually I love the idea of Howard the Duck and Lamar being a superhero team. That is really, to me, one of the best things. I am actually surprised that I realized that Lamar has never been an Avenger.
I was going to say, in the 90s he worked for Silver Sable, but
yeah, he gets around, but he's never been an Avenger, and he's really a cool character.
Oh yeah,
who has had such a great evolution over the years?
It's the cyborg syndrome.
No, I said he got to be a better character as time went on.
Nailed it.
I mean,
I don't read Cyborg. I have no idea what's. I only know Cyborg from the Teen Titans.
That's at Charlie Esser, guys.
New 52 didn't do that character any favors, love. Come on.
Yeah.
Didn't do anybody any favors except for Green Arrow and Aquaman. So
yeah.
Although to be fair, they could use the help.
All right, should we jump to the next one?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, Captain America 348. All right, in the Arctic, a real anarchist villain, Flag Smasher, is on the run from two members of his own organization, Ultimatum, who are trying to kill him. As they race across the ice on jet skis, the hitmen fire blasters, but the cagey mastermind tricks one into accidentally shooting the other, then dispatches the other.
And a Mad Magazine skit. Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm.
Spy versus spy. Appropriating the dead man's survival gear, Flag Smasher heads toward a scientific outpost 25 kilometers away. In Washington, D.C., the new Captain America, John Walker, has been called before the Commission on Superhuman Affairs, who are very upset at his disobeying orders and going after left and right winger. Because he is unreliable, the Commission has decided to suspend him permanently and is placed under arrest. Walker takes it all without a word. Just then, President Reagan enters the room, demanding to know why he had not been told that Captain America had been replaced. And what happened to Steve Rogers? Discovering that Steve is in custody in connection with the assault on the president in issue 344, Reagan asserts that Steve saved him and demands he be released. He then offers John Walker his best wishes and departs. The commission members move ahead to release Steve while deciding to keep Walker out of the public eye until the new administration takes over in January. In the Arctic,
that way you can blame the other guy.
Oh yeah, yep. In the Arctic, Flag Smasher seizes control of the ice station and sends a message to the authorities. In D.C., Commission head Douglas Rockwell reports to his secret boss, who approves of letting John Walker roam free to besmirch the image of Captain America. He then orders a tracking device planted on Steve Rogers so they know where he is at all times. Valerie Cooper rushes in with a report that Flag Smasher is holding the scientists hostage at the Arctic base and demands that Captain America come personally. They prepared to dispatch Walker. In his prison cell, the captain, Steve Rogers, has second thoughts about his choice to not oppose the commission's decision to replace him. He wonders if he has been subconsciously testing himself by making the wrong decisions for months. Suddenly, the lights go out and Cap discovers the cell door is unlocked. Venturing out into the dark, he soon finds his shield and leaves the building, certain that he is being set up, but not knowing for what. On their way north, Battlestar reads Flag Smasher's dossier to a silent and brooding Cap. Reaching the ice station, Cap parachutes in and enters the building. The villain is holding a gun to the head of a hostage, but when Cap says he doesn't care what happens to the man, Flag Smasher knows this is not the real Captain America. A ferocious fight breaks out, with the baddie using his mace and judo to counteract the superior strength of the hero. Judo chop.
Judo chop.
Okay, Austin.
That's superpower. Kung Fu.
Yeah, baby.
Judo Kung Fu. The most deadliest form.
Flag Smasher's exoskeleton absorbs all of Cap's strength, leaving him vulnerable to a punch. Battlestar arrives on the scene, and the villain threatens to shoot the unconscious Cap in the head if the hero's partner does not deliver his message. In 48 hours, the world will be plunged into chaos if they do not send the real Captain America. Realizing there's nothing else he can do, Battlestar falls back and contacts Washington, but Rockwell responds that Steve Rogers has flown the coop and cannot be found. Elsewhere, Steve is looking in on his hotline and finds a message full of gibberish. He decides he must head to Brooklyn to attend to the malfunction in his data system at once.
There you go.
Brooklyn in the house.
Brooklyn. And then he doesn't deal with it. So it's like, I should go figure out what's going on. It's like, oh, never mind.
Oh, Chad. What'd you say, Chad? Reaganomics.
Yeah. I gotta say, I am not quite sure where Grunwald is falling on Reagan in this. Because on one level, I get the feeling he does not like Reagan and his politics, but I also get the feeling he totally buys into the doddering old man idea, and that Reagan's handlers just didn't tell him stuff. Mm-hmm. So the idea that,
every president.
Oh.
Well, I think
it just got more obvious as the years went on because, the media and the White House kind of had a fight where it's like, well, no, we're going to air your dirty laundry. We're not keeping secrets anymore.
But and just the fact that no one on the commission even bothers to tell him why endorsing Walker might be a bad idea right now because he just killed a bunch of people. So it's like no one even mentions.
What happens when you hire celebrities to be president? That's all.
Well, but
and again, he's going to be out. He's going to be out in January. So do they not care?
Lame duck.
Yeah,
I guess so, man. It's weird. Yeah, this is it's definitely weird.
It just seems
everything's apolitical. It's fine. Nothing to see.
It just seems like Rockwell's like, oh, an American president. I work for the real power behind the whole thing.
Yeah, well, except as we'll see later, all of the man behind the screens machinations don't amount to much when things are done by committee. Because unless you can get everybody on the committee to be your lackey, it doesn't work.
Oh yeah,
that's what blackmail is for, Charlie. That's what blackmail is for.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Or I could see the mastermind behind this. Subscribing to the Charlie Esser theory. Have we tried killing them yet?
Well, yeah. I mean, except that's the thing is, wouldn't that have been easier in any of these situations? Isn't that always easier to try and kill someone?
I could see, like, in a more modern take, them, if there's a commissioner or two doesn't agree.
It's not as elegant, Charlie. It's efficient, but not elegant, you see.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem with this mystery figure who we have no idea who they could possibly be. Plus
you can't kill half.
Bathed in red light.
Yeah, because you can't, like, jeez. Yeah. But no, you can't kill, like, half these commissioners because, like, Val Cooper's showing up in X-Men books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They and the problem is that people will miss these people.
Exactly.
These aren't homeless people that, Punchline can just experiment on. These are people that, like, have a 9-to-5 and people are going to care about. So, yeah.
Debatable. It's Washington, so it's debatable. People care about them. I don't know. Sure, they'll be missed, but
yeah. I mean, it's yeah. So they send. So wait, this is the one where he's going at where Cap is going after Flag Smasher and Flag Smasher. By the way, the entire my exosuit. Which is clearly just spandex, but whatever. It absorbs his strength. Which is one of these things where it's like, you ever wonder like how these technologies work in these universes? Because it really does look like the entire idea that, there is like a superhuman god force, a heroic force that flows through all superheroes that we can just suck out of you. It seems to me like this is just a well-established principle, and it's just a lot of different ways to do it. So
what? One more week for Wade's World, okay?
Because I said the word "suck." Okay, it just seems it reminds me a lot, and again, interesting enough to go into other things. Reminds me of what I believe what was called the absorpsicon that the Everyman used. To suck the life out of people, to give himself superhuman strength when he fought Spider-Man and Reed Richards. And that actually leads into the Grand Master story, which is after this. So obviously the technology did exist at this time. So yeah, it's interesting to see it being used here in this way. Yeah. Anyway.
My question. So on the last page, does it say in the digital copy continued in Avengers Annual? And you said it said 18, not 17.
No, that's the next one.
Okay, yeah. Well, is it?
Yeah, it's the next one where it says. In the next one, it says because he says, "Oh, I should have had if I had realized I was going to have to swim back." I would have asked Beast to drop me off, and it says seen in. Which kind of means that like Beast just took a Quinjet back to the X-Men or X Factor.
Well, no, we'll get to the annual, but I think he just takes it to take everyone
drop
home or
everyone
whatever.
Else off. Yeah. Who survived? Because that ended poorly, man.
All right. Well, all right, Lilith. Any thoughts on 348 before we get to the annual? Lilith,
can you hear me?
Yeah, now.
Yeah, they are.
Said it was kind of boring.
Yeah, it was kind of set up for the next
Nothing
issue.
interesting in the panels really either, so it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
It felt like a Bendis issue, talk.
I will say this. I just think, like, why doesn't Flag Smasher just say what's going on? Say, I would only tell Captain America, the real Captain America.
I took that as he don't know who's working for the mastermind.
Yeah, I know, but, I mean, wouldn't it be better just to say it to everyone? It's like, oh man, Johann Schmidt.
Some leverage. You got to grandiose and all that stuff. That's all that was about.
I like the fact that he takes off his cape before he fights. I will say that is one of my favorite things about Flag Smasher.
No capes.
Yeah, it's like that's just for show, man. That comes right off. It's like you gotta have it be detachable. That's gotta be just Velcro. And so,
down and dirty.
That's how you know. It's like when your mom takes off her earrings. It's go time. when the hero takes off his cape.
All right, we're going to get to the annual.
Yeah, we'll get to the annual.
All right, so after a quick detour through Avengers 298, yes, this is the captain's next stop, Avengers Annual 17. For those of you who listen to me and Lilith cover the Grey Hulk and Vegas stuff, this is where Hulk goes after Hulk 350 also, so.
Yes. Not in his suit,
it's a convergence, if you will.
Well,
he just has a pair of jean shorts on.
Well, he just came back from a big fight with Ben Grimm, too, Charlie.
Yeah, I know.
He's feeling sexy. Leave his jean shorts alone. He's feeling sexy. He's feeling himself.
He's got his jorts going.
It is 88. Come on.
Yeah, it's. I have to say, so there, like, a couple things really jump out at me on this. First off, Yellow Jacket, who I gotta say, it's just weird that they're all just cool with her. Yeah, you're one of the Masters of Evil, but whatever. We're just going to keep you around. We'll keep an eye on you. We don't trust you, but you know.
Well, here, I'll do the summary, but it just seemed to me they needed every hand they could get.
Yeah. Okay.
Because there was no Avengers.
Read the summary.
All right.
Get to the book report, Phil.
Reconstructed.
This will be on the final.
Reconstructed by parties unknown, the robot, is it Jocasta?
Yeah, Jocasta.
Okay. Frees herself and places an emergency call to the Avengers before being subdued by her captors. Since the Avengers roster is currently nil, thank you, Thor, and Dr. Druid, their headquarters computer summons the reserve members, which results in a unique gathering including the Captain, the Falcon, Hercules, the Beast, the supposedly deceased Hulk, and the female Yellow Jacket, the latter forced to report by an alarm in her stolen helmet. Tracing Jocasta's call to a Long Island laboratory complex, the makeshift band discovers the followers of the High Evolutionary, who plans to explode a genetic bomb which will catapult the human race instantly through 1,000,000 years of evolution. Their search takes them to Lemuria, which is under attack by Atlantean forces. Halting the battle, they deduce that the two sides were brought together by a ruse in hopes of sterilizing both races, and the Atlanteans and the Lemurians join forces to seek out their common foe. The heroes locate a giant mobile base en route to the volcano Krakatoa, whose explosion will fire the genetic bomb's contents into the high atmosphere. In invading the craft, the Avengers foment a revolution by revealing to the High Evolutionary's men that their leaders are actually the evolved animals called New Men. Then they locate their foe's Genesis chamber and confront him directly, but he easily disables Jocasta, then teleports the Hulk back. Teleports the Hulk back to Las Vegas. While the others occupy their foe's attention, the Beast uses the genetic accelerator on Hercules, transforming him into the High Evolutionary's equal. The two Titans clash, and the High Evolutionary ultimately discorporates. But Hercules continues to evolve until he too vanishes, his fate unknown. As the other Avengers beat a hasty retreat in their Quinjet, Jocasta sets off the base's matter-antimatter drive, destroying both it and the genetic bomb.
Yep. And, So Jocasta dies again. Hercules evolves away to godhood. You know, it's interesting that so many people die, and yet none of that actually gets to stick. So, I would love to see Cosmic Hercules as a thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And just that he goes back to his... And who knows, maybe Cosmic Hercules is still a thing and they'll redress that at some point. How he got back to being just regular God Hercules.
I'm glad you're throwing your support behind George, Chad.
Yes, but jorts are popular. But yeah,
ask Kevin Smith.
Also, can I just say, like, how weird it is that the Hulk and the Beast just knock down walls to enter rooms?
I know. It's
like, and it's not even like they're storming a supervillain. This is like the Avengers compound. You know,
I get it from the Hulk, but yeah, the Beast has a brain. It's like, come on.
Yeah. Also, I gotta say, I really don't like the Beast in a full body suit. I know there's reasons why, but I always think about, you know, the fact that he's covered in fur. He's always very hot. It's like, he doesn't, you know, dogs don't want to wear clothing. I'm sorry, Lilith, to be the one to say that. But, and the Beast doesn't want to, you know, that's the one thing I actually really appreciate about Tigra, is she actually has made that point several times.
That's why
but everyone says, "Oh, why do you run around in a bikini?" It's because I'm covered in fur. Do you have any idea how hot it is to be an LA-based superhero covered in fur? And I don't mean hot like, ooh, that's hot, you know. Yeah,
no.
But yeah, so I don't think that it makes sense for the Beast to wear clothing while he is covered in fur. I like him in his Speedos. No jorts. Only Speedos.
Good Lord.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, it's a great story, I guess. It's very interesting, especially because it's like a completely different writer for Cap in this one. So it's like a completely different Cap, as if he was in no way related to anything that's going on in the other books. So and actually, I kind of feel like, this isn't a conflicted Cap. This is like, I'm the captain. I'm the captain now.
Well, I mean, he's almost back to being Captain America, and I think this was like a big setup because he brings the next team of Avengers together. Mm-hmm. I mean, I wonder if this was planned for a while, or if they scrambled because they're like, okay, last part of Evolutionary War, the Avengers Annual. Who's on the Avengers? Nobody right now. Jarvis. It's like, oh wow.
Yeah, no, Well, next they actually get the jackets, right? Next team of Avengers, it's all jackets.
That's
all
a
the
little
time.
while, but yeah, 90s. Oh yeah, it's. Yeah, by the time they get to like Black Knight and Cersei, yeah, they all got like jackets and leather.
It's got that branding. Got to have that Avengers branding. Yeah, but I like it. It's a solid story. I remember reading this as a kid and being totally blown away. It's like, oh, it's so deep and powerful, and we're fighting the Nazis because he's just a Nazi with energy powers, and that's what. Yes, several times.
Well, if it says your devices aren't connected.
Yes.
You need a mic. At least you need a microphone. Come on.
2 turntables and a microphone. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, it's a good story, and
Did you ever read the What If Volume 2 #1 where they did What If the Evolutionary had
succeeded? I did.
Yeah.
That's also a trippy story because, of course, you get big-headed Captain America. Which is also just kind of weird that that's what it did. Just everyone got a big head.
Well, I mean, it kind of integrated Hulk and Banner. I mean, it did just like regular.
Oh, yeah. No, with the heroes. And then they put Wolverine in charge, and then they go destroy the universe.
Well, yeah, all the superheroes basically, most of them take off. Yeah. Big-headed humanity's just left with like Daredevil and the Vision.
Yeah. And then they all. And then, if I recall correctly, that the essence of humanity forms like a unimind around the Earth.
I think so,
like,
yeah.
So that's like the one thing that survives after the superheroes kill both death and eternity for reasons. And not for nothing, like when the Beyonder did this, everyone got, oh, you can't just kill death and eternity. It's like, hey, here's Wolverine. Well, Bub, I think we should kill death. It's like, did you not read Secret Wars 2, Wolverine? Go back to your long boxes. But yeah, no, yes, of course I read that What If. It's a decent What If. I like this issue a lot. It's a fun issue, and although. Yeah, and then next is where Lamar gets. Yeah, so next issue is where we get our hint of D-Man maybe kind of preferring to live kind of like the hobo's lifestyle, because he's just been hanging out at the decimated Avengers compound for like a couple weeks now.
All right, before we get there, Lilith, any thoughts on the annual?
Why'd you make me read this? This was like atrocious.
Again, different writer, and like I said, I don't know if like it was just last minute. They're like, okay, the Avengers Annual. Who's on the Avengers right now? Nobody. So they just
Jarvis was.
I mean, Jarvis could have handled it. He's a boss. It's fine.
Hit the High Evolutionary with his umbrella.
I mean, it's just an odd choice. That's all.
Yeah.
Who can we pull? It's like, who can we pull in? The Captain, the Hulk. Let's throw an X character in there. The Beast was an Avenger.
Yeah, he was. He is.
OG,
not like the current plant-based Beast we have now.
The plant-based.
Well, everybody's plant-based. It's cool to be vegan. I think that's the theme.
I'm going to say this.
I was going to say, is this like burgers? Are the X-Men now the Impossible X-Men?
Ooh.
What I'm actually going to say is an interesting thing, because you know that Krakoa is named after Krakatoa.
Mm.
So maybe there's going to be a whole evolutionary spore tie-in. Because Krakoa got the Krakatoa on its... got his chocolate on his peanut butter, and that's what happened.
Oh my god, I think I cracked the code. Yeah, Hickman was eating an Impossible Burger and was like, man, what if mutants were
plant-based?
What if it tastes like mutants, but it was actually plants?
There you go.
We cracked it. We've done it. Go home, guys.
I see you, Hickman, eating your Impossible Whopper. I see you.
I prefer.
What was more impressive was the Impossible KFC. Not gonna lie, I was just like, you just can't get that fried. Yeah, it was a limited run in Colorado. I think it was like something because South Park had brought it up, and they're like, you know what, let's try. So they did. It was a very limited run in Colorado, but
yeah, South Park.
Apparently, you can make vegan chicken skin. I found this out very recently. So, I mean, I guess.
You can make anything here, fry it in enough oil.
Well, that kind of defeats the purpose too. But
well, I don't know what the purpose is. The purpose is to make food delicious and just deep fry those green beans.
Would an air fryer work?
You know, they actually fry it before you put it in the air fryer. There's not really such thing as an air fryer. Those don't really work like that. You actually, if you buy like already fried foods and put it into an air fryer, it like fries it. But it's like already fried, so it's not like you're just not refrying it.
Reignites the taste.
Anyway, so yeah.
So we could have done without that annual. That was a very disappointing annual. Like that, especially back in like the 80s. Like annuals were the thing. You know, you looked forward to an annual. I could only imagine like reading that book, and then you get to that annual, and you're just like, I want my money back.
I do appreciate, though, where they tell you where it falls in, like, continuity.
Yeah. Although, I gotta say, I also like the fact that this annual deals with Lemuria and Atlantis, and then next annual, which gets mistakenly cited in the next book, is Atlantis Attacks.
Ah.
So a nice little continuing theme. Okay.
Yeah, so, you know, it's pretty interesting. And yeah, the Lemuria and Atlantean War was cool. Because people always forget about Lemuria. And in fact, I don't think anyone mentions Lemuria except when, you know, they want to show that there is someone else. That Namor isn't the only king of the oceans. Where there's like some other dude who's like...
That he'd have you believe.
Yeah. It's like, I am the king of 75% of the planet. It's like, well, no, actually, you're not. You're the king. You're the kingdom of. You're the ruler of a small city on the ocean floor, and there's like 10 other cities that really have no loyalty to you. So, and some of them are.
Cut down where you can. I see you, Charlie.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying the men weren't so grandiose. Another great Curtis Armstrong role.
Namor's just like, my
kingdom. I don't know if he wants to do the Speedo, but...
Well, you know.
My kingdom is very big.
Kingdom is huge. Oh.
It's a nice kingdom.
Anyway. Yeah, but let's move on to the next issue.
Let's get the Cap.
Cap has to swim back to the island.
Captain America 3.
As you do.
Let's get ready to break Charlie Esser's heart. Captain America 349. Yes.
Yeah.
After the events of Evolutionary War, late one night, the Captain comes ashore on Hydro Base, former headquarters of the Avengers, in search of his missing teammates. He is attacked by a figure in the dark who turns out to be his partner, D-Man, who came here to find Cap after being released by the Commission. Needing a team, Cap makes a stunned D-Man an Avenger. Then a copter arrives and Battlestar, partner to the new Captain America, disembarks. Recognizing him as an enemy he fought in issue 344, D-Man attacks the newcomer, but Cap quickly breaks up the fight. Battlestar explains that he needs the original Captain America to rescue the new Captain America, who's being held hostage in the Arctic by Flag Smasher.
Bum, bum, bum.
At Ice Station Able, Flag Smasher has Cap in chains and suspended to the waist in icy water. Then he's interrupted by the arrival of a squadron of ultimatum agents who have been on his tail. Meanwhile, Cap and his two sidekicks fly a borrowed Quinjet to the Arctic and find the base under attack. Leaving D-Man at the controls, Cap and Battlestar drop to the ground and engage the enemy. As the latter keeps the invaders engaged, the Captain enters the building and confronts Flag Smasher. Cap proves proves his identity by reciting the villain's parting words at their previous meeting in issue 322. And Flag Smasher explains how he quit Ultimatum after he learned his Arctic.
It's not Antarctic, it's Arctic.
No, anarchy, but anarchist.
Anarchist. Oh, okay.
ANARCHIC. Or did someone misspell this?
Anarchist.
Well, it's anarchic.
Actually, he's not anarchic. He's anti-nationalist.
Yeah, I know.
He's not an anarchist. He actually believes in anarchy. He just believes that government should be
believe
cooperative.
In borders. Yes. But his organization was secretly funded by the Red Skull.
Finally.
Now the Skull is planning to set off a doomsday machine, and Flag and Cap and his so Flag Smasher Cap join D-Man and the Quinjet and head to the Ultimatum base. Cap regains his original shield from Flag Smasher, and the two assault the building. They reach the Doomsday Machine, designed to emit an electromagnetic pulse which will destroy all electrical systems in the world, and discover that neither has the scientific know-how to stop it. Cap calls D-Man and instructs him to crash the Quinjet into the main part of the building while parachuting to safety. The sidekick sets the craft on course, but the ship is attacked by two enemies who plant a bomb on the roof. The hero goes up to fight them, but can't remove the bomb in time. The ship explodes, then crashes into the enemy base. Cap screams, having flashbacks to the death of Bucky, and searches for his fallen comrade, but he can find no trace of him.
Yeah, okay. So what would have happened if this plan had worked?
Yeah, I was going to say, what was the Skull trying to achieve by destroying all electronics in the world?
Exactly. Well, I guess his idea was, well, of course the superheroes will stop me. And it just becomes another interesting wheel in my master plan. But like, if, and really, this entire plan hinges on the fact that the Flag Smasher finds out about Johann Smith and then decides it's a bad thing to get funding from him. And does not try to just stop the problem himself, but reach out to Captain America. There are so many levels of this plan that you really got to say, Johan, I don't think you thought this through at all. I get the feeling like there was just someone writing checks at Smithco, and and like they weren't even really checking up to see who was doing what, Yeah, just tell them to build a doomsday device. I don't know. Just
and again, they don't have the scientific none of them had the scientific know-how. Maybe it was just a fake device. Maybe the Skull was just trying to pull Steve out of hiding or something. I don't know.
I guess so, but then well, and that's actually because like there's no way you can have something that. Well, I guess. Well, it's near. I don't know. Maybe it has to because they say that it's actually near magnetic north. So maybe it has to do with doing something with the magnetic poles. Mm-hmm. That's where the EMP comes from, and that way you could get one that would go globally. So,
but yeah, I love this part where Steve's just like somersaulting through the bullets at the guy and to drop kick him, and he's just thinking to himself, it never fails to amaze me how some of these gunmen just get rattled when I advance on them while they're shooting. It's like, yeah, just a simple thing, advancing through gunfire.
Well, because they're shooting the shield.
Oh, yeah.
It's like no one ever thinks, wait, what if we didn't shoot directly at the shield? And
I know, but Steve, just his thought. It's like, it never ceases to amaze me how these guys get rattled when I just come through their gunfire.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. What's weird about this is I guess that Wakandan shield, that now Flag Smasher has it, or the Ultimatum group has it. So, which is, when you think about it, so when John Walker eventually takes on the Thing, he doesn't have Cap's shield. So that's another manufactured shield that they gave Walker when he becomes U.S. agent.
For some reason, I swear they say that's the same shield, though. But it's like, yeah, how did they get it off of Flag Smasher? I mean,
yeah, no, he booked.
I mean, unless Flag Smasher just drops it somewhere and they recover it, I don't know.
But why would he? It's like perfect for him. It's like, oh wow, it's got my color scheme.
It's vibranium.
It's got no logo on it.
It's vibranium.
You know me so well. Yeah.
Unless he was funding something and sold it.
Well, that could be a thing too. It's like, man, because that is probably like a shield worth a lot of money, you know. So, anyway,
Lilith and a hurricane.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on.
But yeah. So anyway, so that happened. That was an issue we read, and
Lilith, what do you think?
D-Man.
Oh yeah, D-Man.
Yeah, that was that. That happened.
Well, I think they kind of use D-Man as a plot device because they don't show where he's at until like issue 400. But I mean, before that, like Crossbones shows up, and I think they kind of played it for a while. It's like, is that like D-Man maybe with amnesia or something? Did the skull like recover him and use him? But then it turns out.
Actually, no, and I'll tell you, this is not the heartbreaking issue. The heartbreaking issue is when Cap goes back to the Arctic to look for D-Man, and he's like trying to find him, and then at the very end of the issue, you see the person frozen in ice. That's
I can relate.
Yeah, well, he doesn't see it though.
They might be soulmates.
Well, that's what I mean. D-Man, he just is. Like I said, he is. Lamar got the better run of got the better storyline from all of this. I mean, I'm glad D-Man's around. Maybe he's going to be on the new FF.
Who, D-Man?
D-Man. Well, because there's a big status quo changing event coming soon, and I would love to see him hang out with Ben Grimm again.
I told you, Elijah's coming back.
Oh, Elijah's definitely coming. We know that.
Yeah,
that's not even shocking.
Can they even shock comic book readers anymore? People that have been reading for 10 plus years? I don't think they can.
No, I mean, because Elijah's coming back. Even
if you bring someone back from the dead, it's like, oh, okay.
We're gonna have the big plant reveal about the X-Men.
Impossible
X-Men. They should totally do that, Philip.
Yeah, well, watch for the new Impossible X-Men.
Now, if I hear CBR talking about Impossible X-Men, I know. Yes, I'm keeping that Twitter beef going. Don't you worry.
Someone trademark that right now. Make Marvel come to us.
Oh, I should do a post on social media later. Just be like, talk about the Impossible X-Men. And
in case CBR tries to say they said it first.
I'm going to say this right now. I bet you if you did a trademark search, you'll find the Impossible X-Men or somewhere.
Ooh.
That Disney already secured those rights.
They're already planning the Impossible X-Men burger.
Yeah, Well, you need that tie-in.
It's not Burger King that they cross over with. Because let's be honest, Burger King.
Oh, come on, it's Disney. They can get in them. It's Disney. They can get McDonald's. Come on.
Anyway, but so.
Yeah, that happened.
So
that's all that I can say about that issue.
It's all building towards something, and we're getting all the pieces put into place. And
I mean, it's not a good place we're headed, but okay.
He's right to say John Walker is a mess through all of this, but at no point does it really feel like he's being drugged yet.
I mean, it's insane.
I know exactly, and especially because
it's roid rage.
When we get to 350, which I think is that the next one we get to.
Yep, that's the last one.
Yeah.
Next one. Yep.
He actually has a whole, cogent conversation at the end where he does not seem in any way drugged, and it's just like, oh, okay. So that's a thing now, I guess. Is
it toxic masculinity before toxic masculinity was a thing? Is that what this is?
Well, I mean, they're kind of playing into, and for what it's worth, because he is, from the power broker, he's very much a steroid analogy, and roid rage was a thing. But at the same time, it is just this idea that they try to imply later that, he was being drugged to become more violent. Whereas actually, I don't think that's ever really displayed. And every time we see him after this, he doesn't seem that different than he was as the Super Patriot. It seems like he had a lot of PTSD from watching his parents die, and that led him to go on it's sort of like when they try to say that, the Punisher wasn't crazy, he was just drugged too. It's like, no.
It was the trauma of his parents plus roid rage. It was fancy technique that gave him his muscles, but it was roid rage.
Yeah. Any whoosies.
Shots fired at the WWF, I guess.
Yep. Anyway.
Wasn't that the scandal also going on at the time, or was that like the early 90s?
That was like half of sports, isn't it?
Well, no, yeah.
No, like
really,
when the Hulk testified again on Congress with Congress or whatever. Was that the late 80s or early?
No,
90s?
that was much later. That was in the Jose Canseco testified.
Oh yeah, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jose Canseco testified. Yeah, yep. He said because it helps all his book about getting steroids shot up his butt. Because it's really when you're a batter, it is all about the butt muscle because it's about the America's butt. So yeah.
I was going to say,
but when it comes to steroids, as people will say, it's not like Cap is anyone to talk.
Yeah. All right, so should we get
as we get to in our Streets of Poison when
we'll get there.
It's not exactly Kool-Aid running through your system there, buddy.
All right, so should we get to 350?
Sure.
All right. Let's wrap up this Captain storyline.
The best cover of this whole run, by the way.
Heck yeah.
And in a great shout out to Watchmen, we see the little kid reading the comic book at the newsstand.
Yeah. All right, so 350.
And actually reading this comic book, which is weird. Because it's kind of like a little
future. He was a time traveler. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, there's like a little Bonzo can never-ending dog thing. He's like, I'm reading the book that I'm reading, and I'm in the book reading the book that I'm reading, and I'm in the book reading the book that I'm reading.
All right, so 350. The sinister Adonis, who has been manipulating the Commission on Superhuman Activities, stands in a gym. Facing him are 5 sparring partners dressed as Captain America. In a flash, the heroes attack the man, who responds with lightning-quick reflexes and in a matter of minutes has killed all 5 men. He arranges with an aide to provide better opponents for his next workout and repairs to his palatial office overlooking the Capitol in Washington, D.C. There he muses on the American dream, which has inspired him to dedicate himself to enslaving the entire population of the United States. Bigly. He checks in with Douglas Rockwell, his lackey on the commission, who reports that Steve Rogers was sighted in New York the day before. Steve is indeed in the Big Apple, pondering recent events and trying to decide on a course of action. Suddenly, a truck goes out of control on a busy street. Quickly donning his captain outfit, he leaps into action, carrying some boys to safety, then catching a baby thrown from its stroller to the amazement of the crowds. And catching the apple pie, remember?
Yes.
At the hospital in Fort Meade, Captain America John Walker is recovering from the injuries sustained in the Arctic in the last 2 issues, when he has a visit from an angry Rockwell, shaming him for his failure and demanding to know where is the shield. After he leaves, Battlestar tries to comfort his partner, but Walker feels betrayed that Lamar called for help and they had to bring Steve Rogers. A worried Lamar leaves and Walker receives a phone call telling him to come to a midnight meeting to find his shield. Walker suits up as Captain America and stealthily leaves the hospital. A late-night session of the Commission on Superhuman Activities discusses the future of John Walker. The legal problems stemming from his violent actions against the Watchdogs in 345, the left and right winger in issue 347, are not as serious as first thought. His handler, Adrian Samish, points out that Walker is a loaded bomb and should be quietly cut loose before he does something even worse. Commission head Douglas Rockwell seizes on the passing mention of Steve Rogers to launch a bitter tirade against the former Captain America, startling and confusing the other commissioners. Later, the captain steals into the building and walks into Rockwell's office, finding him in communication with his secret boss. Rockwell hastily signs off and Cap confronts him, demanding answers. Rockwell refuses, but when the phone rings, he picks it up and dust is sprayed into his face from a hidden compartment, deforming it into the image of a red skull, the trademark of Captain America's arch-enemy. Cap traces the call to find the villain's location. Captain America John Walker arrives at the downtown office building for the mysterious meeting. He is ushered into a boardroom where he is met by the arrogant businessman. At a signal, several costume figures enter, a representative each of Ultimatum, the Resistance, the Sweatshop, Scourge of the Underworld, and the Watchdogs. The villain reveals that he is the secret leader behind all of these criminal organizations and informs Walker that he is Steve Rogers, the original Captain America. He then orders his minions to attack the stunned hero and walks out with a laugh. The battle commences instantly and Cap springs into action, battling his foes with almost sadistic glee. The captain arrives at the same building and a voice over a loudspeaker guides him to an office where he confronts the mastermind over a view screen. The villain claims that he is the Red Skull, even though Steve saw him die in his arms in issue 300, and explains that he has adopted a new face for a new era. He then reveals that Steve's replacement is John Walker, the former super patriot, and shows how he engineered a series of disasters in order to tarnish the name of Captain America. Steve walks out on the boasting baddie and begins to search the building for him. He enters the boardroom where the new Captain America stands among the bodies of slain foes. Looking up, Walker sees the captain, who he believes to be his worst enemy. Back at Commission headquarters, Rockwell's gruesome corpse is discovered and the police called. Val Cooper takes charge and determines to uncover Rockwell's secrets. Walker attacks Steve, who recognizes that his opponent is indeed the former super patriot. Steve relies on his agility to avoid his enraged, super-strong opponent. But Walker is also quite agile, and Steve has a hard time of it, though he has the time to ponder how his submission to the Commission was because he felt the need to test himself as Captain America. He finally gets in a lucky blow that knocks Walker out. The Red Skull then enters, applauding Steve's performance, and the two stand face to face as the villain boasts of his plan to destroy the country in the guise of a handsome American businessman, and Steve grows suspicious. Walker comes to and hurls his shield, hitting the villain in the back of the legs just as he was about to spray his dust of death from his cigarette holder. Instead, he takes a dose of his own weapon in the face, and he's burned into a red skull. He flees, and the heroes pursue, but they can't find him. Later, they address the Commission, now headed by Val Cooper, and explain the sinister plot behind the replacement of Captain America. Cooper asks John Walker to step aside as Cap and offers the role to Steve Rogers once more. To their surprise, Steve declines, having learned that he can uphold the nation's ideals without the uniform. As he is leaving, Walker follows him into the hall and tells him that no one can fill the uniform like he can, and that only Steve's adopting the role once more will prevent another failure. Once he learns that Walker is speaking from the heart, Steve readily accepts the mantle of Captain America once more.
Yay!
Yay.
Boy, just such a weird idea that a businessman might someday destroy America. Anyway, I actually had forgotten about the sweatshop.
Yes.
I actually had to go back to, wait, who are these guys in green?
The Power Brokers guys, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, the sweatshop. Power Broker, okay. But yeah, it seems so long ago, which actually would have been a long time ago by this point, because this is really, we read books that covered like about a year of time. You know?
Over a year, yeah, because that was like 20 issues ago, the sweatshop.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, which again goes to show you how weird it is when you read it all at once, and you realize that, oh wow, this was something that was read, from 7th grade to 8th grade for me. So, it's interesting. It's interesting, is what I'm saying. And again, like I say, it's neat that, Walker is like, I love Walker at the end. He was like, no, that's America's took us. And that's only you can fill out this costume that way. So that's nice.
Just a big wrap up, getting everything back to the way it was, yeah.
Yeah, and that's nice, and Cap gets to be Cap again, and and then I don't mention in this that they wanted the costume, right? That's
it's a couple issues from now, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they wanted that design. Technically, D-Man designed it, or
well, it's weird because like next issue, the Commission fakes John Walker's death, like they fake like a scourge attack, and like he's like seemingly assassinated on TV, and then that's when they give him the new identity and stuff.
Oh yeah, because that's where I think is it Val Cooper who says, yeah, and Cap looks pretty good for an octogenarian.
Yeah. So they fake John Walker's death, that give him a new identity, probably just to so people don't say, hey, that's the guy who blew up that Texas oil field.
Yeah, well, and then they give him the mind wipe, and all that stuff, and then probably implant some more new memory, just like they did with Brainwave on Stargirl. So, don't trust people putting memories in. Don't trust people putting their car where it doesn't belong. Okay.
Take a drink anytime you hear "ka" or punchline.
Or, you really should subscribe to our
Patreon.
Star Trek Patreon.
Oh, you can drink over there.
Yes.
That's a drink worthy as well.
I don't even have to drink apple juice. I can drink other things.
Lilith, what did you think of this issue?
I liked it, actually. I mean, I think that 347 was the best issue out of this particular batch for me, but this was very interesting. But
I could just hear Lilith and reading 347. Kill him!
Actually, to me, the best part of this issue is not anything that happens in the issue proper, but the backup feature with Arnim Zola and the Skull.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I have a quick synopsis for that if you want to talk that. It's basically it's a lot of flashback, but it's basically just explain. Yeah, Zola cloned the Skull a new body. Yeah,
clone in the Marvel.
Yeah, who hasn't been a clone at some point?
Good old 1940s technology at its finest.
Although he was Steve Rogers' DNA, because as we saw when he died in 300, he kind of scratched Steve on the face, so he got some of that DNA.
I was just like, who do you think you are? Some kind of Superboy? How dare you?
Well, but then he goes and he uses that DNA a couple times, and then of course, then we get the weird, middle Red Skull there, where it's like the original Red Skull's DNA and the original 1940s tapes that got put into his brain.
Oh, that clone thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's when that stole the Xavier brain part that gives you power.
Yeah.
Yikes.
It worked in theory. Anyway, I don't even understand any of this.
That's right. A Cosmic Cube's going to bring him back. Well.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, Red Skull's already back.
Or Mephisto. Or the original. Or Mephisto.
Well, yeah. But, no, Red Skull's back in the...
Oh, yeah.
In the current books, he's back in Lucan. So, Ta-Nehisi, he's not gonna not have the Red Skull in his books. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
He's bringing back Scourge. He's bringing back Red Skull. Obviously, the man has a love for this late 80s Grunwald run, which I think a lot of people
makes
do.
Sense. Yeah.
I think there's actually a real beloved quality to this run on Captain America, where people just felt this was good. I also like the fact that the bonus feature in this is how the Red Skull came back. Bonus feature in Evolutionary War was how the High Evolutionary came back. Because when that happened, the whole time I was saying, no, I have the Incredible Hulk book where he gets beaten to and devolves himself back to an amoeba. And then it was just such a cop-out. Well, actually, my armor just repaired itself and then de-evolved me.
See, maybe I'm just a stickler, but I love that back in the day, like when a character came back who was supposed to be dead or something, that they explained how they came back. It's like these days, It's just like, oh, kids, it's comics. People come back all the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, they want it to be a mystery for a while.
Yeah. If they eventually... if they keep,
probably.
Yeah, if they keep it mysterious, but sometimes these days they're just like, yeah, this guy comes back.
I want my Superior Spider-Man back.
I know you do.
I love you, Otto, but I want my Superior Spider-Man back,
Best of both worlds. We get it.
I want Marconi to just, say, heck with that. That Otto guy's nuts, but I'm gonna make another boyfriend in the lab. It'll be great.
Say clone her boy. Or reverse weird science. Oh my lord.
Yes. I got his stuff. I got his brain tapes right here. Yeah. Well, no, you did something stupid. You made a deal with the devil, but you know what? That's fine. You're back now. Say, wait, so my other me is still out there? I say, yeah, but that's not you.
We don't care about that. That's not important.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Give me a kiss.
Oh, come on. Come on, Marvel. You want to promote the Superior Spider-Man versus Dr. Octopus.
Yes, it is natural. And like I said,
all the beans.
We can start addressing that idea of do clowns have souls? Is there one soul split between all of them, or does
we
each one get its own soul?
From Harry Potter. That's cool.
I want that. Like I said, I want that. I want some politics in hell kind of stuff going on. Especially if we're looking so much at Mephisto right now. I want to see the wingless wizards. And no, you guys do know, I have 8,000 clones of myself. Everyone, evil is me. Everyone in hell. Now we actually have enough of a voting block to gerrymander Gerrymander hell.
Sounds like a plan,
That
Jan.
would be awesome to me, but like that's probably a little Hellfire and Charlie, the Professor Esser kind of thing.
Nailed it.
I just want that story so bad.
I do gerrymandering in hell because yeah, politics is hell. I'm totally here for it.
It makes sense. It's full of sentient beings who have political histories, you know. These are beings that are going to be like, yeah, you know, that sounds
like
you know,
the good place said, Columbus is in the bad place.
Well, of course they are.
Seriously, I want them to bring up.
You know.
I want them to bring all these evil figures together and talk this out, because I just want a story where they're just like, oh, don't mess with Lilith. You don't want to mess with Lilith.
But, you know, that's the thing. I think that would be a great story just because it will show the idea that the demons aren't in charge of hell, the actual people being punished there are. And just the idea of what if all the souls in hell rose up and overthrew the demons?
There's good demons on both sides, Charlie. Come on.
Yes, I'm just saying. It would be an interesting take, but yeah. Yeah, oh boy. But prescience, handsome businessmen destroying the American dream.
I mean,
yeah, for those who don't remember, Donald Trump actually used to be considered handsome. That's why they had Chris Noth play him. Yeah, that's why they had Chris Noth play him in Sex and the City. People forget that about Sex and the City. Mr. Big was supposed to be a Trump pastiche. I don't know if that means that Candace Bushnell actually dated Trump at some point. But, yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
It's gross, I know, to realize, but yeah, you know, Donald Trump used to be considered like, you know, a suave, debonair, you know, businessman.
Well, with that much money, you can buy all the good press you want, obviously.
Yeah, press is cheap, you know. It's
especially nowadays.
Yeah, first rule of anything is that, you know, advertising is not as big of an expense as you think it is. Anyway.
It's necessity, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, I don't know what happened, but do you guys want to hear a two-part feedback from Ray?
Yes.
Sure.
All right, everyone.
How long is it?
I don't know. Like I said, he sent me two separate ones, so I don't know if he got cut off or what, but... All right, so here's part one.
Two balls down the gob. Here we go. Let's do it.
What?
Couple of balls down the gob.
All right, here's part one from Ray from Infinity Night, a Moon Knight podcast. I don't know if I opened it.
Hello, Captain America fans. This is Ray. I thought I'd just drop in my thoughts then for these issues that you will be covering. 5 big ones, 347 up to 350, including Avengers Annual 17 or 18. I think there was a typo there from the editors. Anywho, again, I think these are really solid. I'll be interested to hear if Lilith finds them more entertaining or more intense, but it really does ramp up, culminates in of course, the meeting between Captain America, the Captain, and John Walker. It's so cool because we hadn't seen them together for such a long time. I guess the last time was when John Walker was a super patriot. But anyway, just quickly flying through this left winger, right winger. Geez, that was great. And John Walker, what a brutal bugger there. Really first threatening the families and then really offing both of them. Although later we find out that they're alive, which is good, I guess. Yeah, it's finish whacking me. Really cool. Actually, I want to talk also about the end of that Evolutionary War. End of the Evolutionary War. That was really cool as well, seeing Herc and a classic Beast as an Avenger, and Grey Hulk. That would have excited you, Phil, as well. Also, just seeing Cap's journey as well come back. It was great to get that continuity between the Annual and him going to the Hydra base, hooking up with Falcon, and hooking up with D-Man as well. So very, very cool indeed. But overall, just a really top-notch stuff from Grunwald. The return of the Red Skull. I can only imagine him being missing for 50-odd issues. So what's that? That's like, how many years? Like 4 years in comics. And finally coming back in the clone body of Steve Rogers. Fantastic stuff. Really enjoying it. But yeah, Lilith, hoping that you enjoyed as well. Charlie, I reckon you would, and Phil, I know that you enjoy these as well, since we covered 350 on your Isla Ra sessions. Anyway, best of luck with the discussion, and I'll be listening as always. Catch you later.
So why do I sound like he was done? So why did he send me a second one? Let's see.
Let's see.
Something.
Maybe
Well, again, guys, just a quick one. I don't know if I mentioned, it was all a little bit of a blur. If I mentioned the Herc. Yeah, the Herc in the Avengers Annual. Really cool stuff, seeing Herc have a leading role in there.
He loves Herc.
And I just wanted to mention as well the High Evolutionary. Such a intriguing character, I find. And I'm doing a bit of a reread for Spider-Woman. And he's got a role in that too. Well, in the original one, he's... Spider-Man 1, I see actually the human version of him. He's one of the associates of Jessica Drew's parents. Anyway, so it's very interesting to see him in this adventure and such a highly powerful being. Also, I love the ties in again because we're all reading the comics around this time. I loved it seeing Hulk, the Grey Hulk, spurted out. Phrasing into the desert, and I believe that was brought up in the Grey Hulk, the Joe Fixit issues we covered. If not, it's been something that I've been reading in the Peter David omnibus. But again, I like this continuity, and if only Marvel had this kind of continuity these days, it would improve things 1,000-fold. Anyway, I just wanted to mention Herc because he was brilliant in there. I actually thought that his costume would be turned into the latter version costume that we know of with the braces, but not to be. But anyway, it was fun to see how he had a pivotal role. Anyway, that was it. So yeah,
Out of the pouch. Boing.
I threw that in. But
That's Ray's. We've got mail from Ray intro.
But yeah, I knew he was going to mention Hercules because he loves that character.
Well, Hercules was awesome.
Yeah, he likes He-Man too, so yeah, and Conan, so it makes sense.
He-Man. No, but actually what I loved in this is how really Herc's design in this is so very 90s in a way that I don't know if that was that his standard costume at the time? Because I don't remember him wearing that kind of weird armor when he fought the Hulk, back when all the Avengers fought the Hulk.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah. I don't remember this costume except for this issue. Yeah,
I know. So, and it's what's weird is it kind of reminds me of, if you remember that late '90s, that was kind of like a West Coast Avengers, where it was like Hawkeye and a bunch of like lesser Avengers, or lesser known Avengers, and they all had that weird armor. That very much struck me. It's on Disney Plus. You can watch that. So yeah, it was just a weird choice for this armor. And maybe that's the way that we say that Hercules did evolve, and all the other Hercules, that's just the Hercules, because it's sort of like when the Beyonder sends Doom back in time, then the other Doom comes into that time stream. It's just like when one Hercules apotheosizes, another comes in to fill his role.
Now I'm trying to remember the details, but no, Hercules does, I guess, get de-evolved, or he shows up again in, I think, it's Thor. Sometime after 400, I think it's like the early 400s or something. Yeah,
So they bring him back with an explanation. He's just not, I'm a god. We die all the time.
Yeah, no, I forget what the explanation is, but I'm pretty sure, they give him an explanation, yeah. There might even be like celestials or something involved. I forget. I'm trying to remember. But yeah, it's something. No, that's back when they explain stuff in comics.
Yes. They're cool. Well, now they want the mystery. They want to get around to explaining it eventually. They just usually don't have enough issues.
Yeah, it's time to reboot. Sorry.
and they haven't
run out the clock.
All we do is stand around and exposit, but we can't explain this to you.
Yeah, well, comics. We still love them. Mm-hmm. We're buying them. So don't act like we ain't buying them. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. So Hercules was great in that, and I agree. His super evolution, like from god to super god, was kind of cool. But yeah, it's amazing as I read this how many of these panels that you see in these issues all wind up in the handbook to the Marvel Universe.
Yes,
where you realize like, oh, because it was written contemporaneously, and so a lot of these images show up there.
All right.
I'm also, they need to bring back Flag Smasher, like the original Flag Smasher, not just some guy in the suit.
Yeah, they mess with him so much. what it's.
Yeah. Well, he's kind of he's a weirdly motivated supervillain because his like motivation is world peace. He's kind of, honestly, he's the kind of character that if he ever teamed up with someone like, a super genius who wanted to take over the world just to prove a point, they would actually, so like if him and the wizard teamed up, they would actually probably take over the world. Because the wizard wants to just prove he's smarter. And he really doesn't, he's not going to worry about the day-to-day. And the Flag Smasher is going to establish a universal democracy with human rights protected. They could pull it off. It would be interesting. That is a terrible 2 I'd like to see.
Nice. All right. Final thoughts?
Still not a fan of Captain America, no matter how hard you try, Phil. Sorry. Not for everybody. Not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
You're not done yet.
She's a Jeff Mace fan. You're not going to change her.
Oh. She didn't like it, that Mace. Anyway, but yes, as I said, next week, Wade's World returns. Deadpool Team Up 894. Lilith is all excited. Followed in 2 weeks by, it's going to be a big episode. We're going to probably split it up between hosts. Because I think Matt Conan and I are going to cover Streets of Poison, the main story. And then I know Lilith agreed to do some backup stories with John Walker. So we'll see where we'll squeeze Charlie Esser in on that.
Okay. You let me know. I'm here when you call.
All right. So yes.
I have Marvel Unlimited now. The world of Marvel Comics is at my fingertips. So,
hey, Marvel, you're welcome. We've sold at least 2 Marvel Unlimited subscriptions, one for Charlie Esser and one for Ray. So you're welcome.
Yes.
Oh, he was.
So please spawn.
Yeah, he was complaining last night because Ray even said, he says, oh, if DC had something like this, he's like, I would get it. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess you guys don't get DC Universe. He's like, yeah, no, can't get it down there.
Oh, they can. Oh.
Nope.
Not even just a comic book branch of it?
Nope.
No.
Warner's dropping
DC
the ball
is always
again.
messing up.
Yep.
Well, that's because they mix their comics and their TV shows. They tried to do a one thing for thing, but of course, in doing that, you're actually first of all, you're using way more bandwidth for the shows than the comics. Mm-hmm. So that's going to cause you problems right there. And second off, comic fans aren't necessarily the people that are going to be the TV and movie fans.
Yeah, or vice versa.
Well, when it comes to DC specifically, that's not necessarily true.
Well,
the people who write them aren't comic.
Yeah.
All right. So, yes, send your thoughts on this, anything we covered, the upcoming stuff. Email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com. Call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember to follow Comic Capers on Facebook, on Twitter. Follow all of our stuff, the YouTube, our Patreon. Links to everything at Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics. And remember to support our sponsors. Please go get yourself some Tweaked audio headphones. Go pick up Hunt a Killer, because you're in the house more. So get some family fun game night stuff.
It's like an escape room delivered to your house every month.
That's right. And go pick up Pod Life the book, now in digital and paperback. And when you do that, when you buy anything on Amazon, use the link for Southgate Media Group right down there in the show notes, on the podcast, on the YouTube, because help support this show, the network, and the head of it all, the secret mastermind, bathed in red light, Rob at Master Doom Southgate.
Make it rain, so says Master Doom.
All right, and we lost Lilith, so follow Lilith on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire, and follow her. You can follow her 2 places on Instagram, Lilith Hellfire 86, and of course Lilith Hellfire 69.
Pickle.
Charlie Esser.
Well, you can always write to me in an old-fashioned email way, the way our Moz and Poz once did back in 1988 when this book was new. At superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. And of course, follow me on the Twitters as I live tweet the final season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They're breaking your heart! At Charlie Esser, that's CHARLIESSER. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing!
Thank you, Maz.
All right. again, thank you for taking this journey with us. Again, next week, the return of Wade's World, followed by more Captain America in 2 weeks. Yay! Streets of Poison. Got an update on some John Walker stuff. The big one.
A lot going on, man.
Yeah. Gotta face the consequences of that. Thank you, Ray, for the feedback. Yeah, go check out Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast.